Okay, so we're just going to talk a little bit about festivals, myths and fairy tales today, and just I guess the context, just a little bit of context around it. And we might do another one later on in the semester. Okay, so we start with festivals. Now, this is anyone know what this is? Anyone been? Yep. What is it? This is the reading festival, isn't it? For bookworms of all kinds, of all denominations, from all across the world, come here to do some reading. And there are sort of all sorts of reading from scriptures to all sorts of things, really. You know, you can read whatever you want. It's a very kind of egalitarian place to do a bit of reading. And there's somebody on stage there doing some reading, some kind of people. So, okay, right. So, yeah, as Carol was going on about yesterday, last week even, festivals are everywhere at the moment. And we saw by looking at Carol's flowchart that there was I don't know how many was there, 50 or something festivals in just in the Newcastle Gateshead area, and she doesn't really deal with anything kind of past, sort of towards Carlisle or anything like that. Festivals are massive, absolutely massive. Who's been to a festival within the last kind of 6 months? Okay, like tell us what you went to? Anybody? Festival? Bestival? The festival? Okay, is that to do with animals? Festival? No, sorry, that's something else.
Participated in the festival.
Right, yeah. Okay, who's participated, in a festival? You've participated in a festival. Christmas? Well done, Eric.
So nobody has participated in Christmas? You have not been given anything from Santa? You have not? No? We're all not kids. I mean, Christmas is a festival as well.
Well done, Eric. I got from Santa. Very good gift this year. I got a hangover, and I got an overdraft this year, which is cool. It's a double present from Santa this year. Okay, so basically there's festivals everywhere, and we know that, all ages, all denominations, for all interests, and Carol was talking about families and participation and how important that is. And we're just going to highlight a couple of things and just to sort of see, maybe, just have a look at the context around some of these things. Okay, so what I've done is looked at sort of basically just to look at kind of 4 headings, I guess, that might have something to do with why we go to festivals, why they're so popular at the moment, and why they seem to be a continuing trend. Although, actually, apparently, just in terms of music festivals, there was a record number, some of you might know this, last year. They've become so popular that people are organising them left, right and centre because they're money-making ventures. But quite a few got cancelled because there wasn't enough interest. So are we at a tipping point? I don't know. We'll see. But it's definitely something that's growing, really growing, or has grown in the recent past. Okay, so first we're going to look at experience. Okay, so why do we need festivals? Okay, so basically, first of all, there's a couple of things I've highlighted. Leisure. The leisure economy is massive. We all talk about leisure time, something that Americans call quality time or something, And anyone heard the word bleisure? Anyone heard the phrase bleisure? What is bleisure? It's a real thing. You could look it up on Google. What is bleisure? Absolutely, yeah. And this is what professionals do. It's a kind of there used to be a separation between the home life and work life, but because of your laptops, your smartphones, etc., those two are kind of there's a kind of blend between them, and it's impossible to tell where one finishes and one begins now. Okay, so pleasure's really important. Leisure, we kind of we have this sort of leisure culture about what to do with our leisure, with our expendable income, and the experience economy. Anyone know what the experience economy may or may not entail? Aha. What does that mean?
I don't know. For example, like you used to be able to get those red letters there, like a bus from like a track there, or a festival there.
Okay. Anyone know when this kind of mass experience culture began, or kind of, well, maybe not began, but became really quite popular, mass market terms? Not just red letter days, but this whole thing about, and red letter days are kind of hot air ballooning, etc. Kind of going around on in a Ferrari on a track. But this whole thing about experiencing things, products. Dan? Yeah, okay, well that was quite a long time ago, but like in terms of product design, etc., etc.
To say that you have it or that you've done it. To be able to say that you have it or that you've done it, like, is it something like a bucket list? Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about life as a CV, etc. These autobiographical practices and processes, and we'll talk about that, I think, in a little while, I think. But basically in the 90s, marketing moved from selling stuff, as in like these, as in like and the next one of these, because everyone already had one of these. Everyone already had a mouse. Everyone had a kind of a Sony CD Walkman thing. Everyone by then had one of a tower computer. Why would you need another one? Okay, so we already had stuff. Stuff had become quite cheap, quite accessible, reasonably reliable. Why would we need to upgrade or whatever? So instead of buying stuff, we were buying experiences. Okay? So basically, when you bought a new one of these, it wasn't that you wanted the next one of these because it was whiter or kind of had a new button or shinier. It was actually it was plugging you into a whole new experience. So this is what we call the experience economy. Okay? And we're still there, but actually we're moving on to something called the transformation economy. Anyone sort of guess what this may be? The transformation economy. Yes, Matthew?
Selling you things that make you feel like you're going to change yourself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, absolutely, without doubt. So you're changing, this is changing you, this is changing the world, society, the environment, etc., by purchasing, by being loyal to a brand, or experiencing a new brand, whatever it is. You're transforming yourself, others, etc., okay? And a lot of this sort of social innovation stuff is about transforming. A lot of brands are getting involved in that, detox, carbon capture, etc., etc. It's all transforming people. And if you look at, companies like Philips, on their website, even I think one of the headers is transformation, okay? Transformation is massive, massive business at the moment. Isn't that right, guys? Eric? Yep. Daniel? Yep. Okay. So look out for that word, because sooner or later, when you're interviewed by your prospective employers, i.e. next month, you can harp on about transforming stuff, okay? Because you know about it, right? Because that's what they're going to be aiming to do. Okay. So we talked a bit about the CV, a bit about these sort of like experience things. And going to festivals, it's like going, experiencing new things, experiencing kind of new people, etc., etc. So we're having things, as Rosie said, that we're ticking off. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so experiences. And it's like live music. There's this whole massive thing about live music at the moment. And it's like we'll kind of talk about that in a sec, but instead of it sort of being already accessible to everybody on MP3, on iTunes, you're actually going out and experiencing it, okay? All right, so it's really vital at the moment that we want to experience stuff for whatever that means. Okay, community. So what I've put here is I've put interaction, empathy, and tribalism, and there's other things. So, anyone kind of hazard a guess at why these things might be important to us?
Well, knowing your target market.
Mm-hmm.
If the market's kind of segmented into tribes or groups,
Yeah.
you've got to know which one you're targeting.
Okay, but as people, why, as festival goers, participants, why might be we interested in sort of interacting with others?
Makes us feel like we belong.
Yeah, it's kind of absolutely. So it's humanizing rather than dehumanizing, okay? So dehumanizing is kind of labeling, it's kind of being a number, all of these kind of cliches, stereotypes, etc., etc. But this is actually, you're interacting with real humans rather than people on Facebook. You're empathizing with others that are like you, that belong to the same crowd as you, that like the same music, that go to the same festival, that drink the same beer, that want to share the same experiences. Yeah, so it all sort of ties together. So it's experiencing things with others that are kind of like you. Right? It's really, really important in kind of product service world at the moment. It's everything. It's everywhere. Yeah. Okay, and tribalism. It's belonging to something rather than being this amorphous individual that's kind of lost in this ether of the internet. Yeah, does that kind of make sense? Right. So festivals are vital in kind of rehumanizing us. Okay, or that's how they're sold, and that's how festival goers kind of, when they come back from these things, they're like, fuck, I feel human again. Yeah, that's why people, just you see what I mean? Yeah. Kind of, yeah? No? I don't know. Anyway, next. Okay. Right, so yeah. So, in a way, a festival is kind of like this sort of village hall thing. It's humanizing rather than dehumanizing. It's a place for people with like-minded interests to meet new people with kind of those interests, or slightly different people, but people who are kind of slightly, in a way different, whatever, yeah? Okay, it's really, really important. Okay. Right, participation. And Eric said a little while ago who participated in the festival. And Carol was going on about last week with the kind of cake, the cake bake festival thing, Newcastle cake bake, whatever it was. Cake book, I think it was. It was about including people, okay? It was about kind of people coming along with their cake, with their this, with their musical instrument, playing that instrument, whatever it is, okay? Why is that important? Why might that be important to us?
Because people want to get involved in the money with like their building, their PC.
Okay.
Depending on something.
Okay. Why? Never used to always be the case. Used to go, get fed, whatever, listen to a concert, whatever, come home, whatever. Why are we intent on being part of the process? Being kind of judges, being kind of whatever, being part of the whole kind of curation, whatever it is, yeah? Baking those cakes, being part of the crowd, whatever it is, yeah? What's this movement about?
Being part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Okay.
Rather than just taking part, you are the event.
Okay, so without you, it couldn't have actually even existed. It couldn't have been organised. The logistics, it couldn't have happened. So you're transforming this thing. Yeah? Your cake, your vote, your whatever, yeah, is transforming society, other people's experiences, yeah? Do you kind of see what I mean? Yeah?
It's not really happening on a massive scale, though. It's quite still niche at the minute.
It is quite niche at the minute, but if we move on to the next slide, it's happening all over society. Okay? So, for example, a few years ago, you went to the doctor, you went to the hospital, and you were told which hospital you would have your operation at. You were told which consultant you would be having your operation with. Okay? And that was that. Now, you get a choice. You can move hospital, you can kind of be closer to your home, you can kind of participate in your own treatment cycles, okay? So this is a growing trend in society at the moment. And my belief is that festivals is basically just one, when Eric and I write stuff, we talk about lenses through which to view things, yeah? And festivals is one lens through which to view a much bigger movement in society that's happening in our culture.